Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm excited to have you here. My name is Kaya Henderson, and I'm the Chancellor of DC Public Schools. And this is our second annual student budget hearing. Last year, we decided to do something very different in terms of how we think about the budget. Every year, we go through a process where we get an allotted amount of money from the mayor to figure out how we want to spend on schools. And every year, we engage your principals, your teachers, community members in asking for their advice and their priorities around how we should spend our money. Last year, we really wanted to focus on high schools and in our budget. And so I asked my staff to pull together a group of young people, students from every high school, to share their impressions about what we should focus on in the budget. And last year, your peers told us that they wanted more elective courses. Last year, your peers told us that they wanted more foreign language courses. They told us that they wanted more extracurricular activities like student government, more money for athletics, and effectively sort of conveyed that they wanted school to be a place that was not just focused on academics, but was also focused on growing and developing your talents and your leadership experiences and your passions. And I'm really proud that last year we were able to put about $12 million additional dollars in high schools for those very things. Now, other people told us that there were priorities and things that they wanted us to do, but I was really compelled by the testimony that I heard last year at the student hearing. Now, that does not mean that I'm gonna have an extra $12 million to do whatever you say this year, but we'll see how it goes. I think it's most important to hear from you, our clients, our customers, the people who we serve in our schools. And I hope that you recognize this as a huge opportunity to really influence what happens here in DC Public Schools. There are a lot of school districts where they don't ever ask students what they think the district should spend its money on. So this is a great opportunity for you all to tell us what's going on in your schools. There are lots of adults in the back. Don't pay attention to them. This is about us right now and you sharing your perspective with me and Chief John Davis, who is responsible for all of our schools, so that as we think about the budget, we have your priorities and your best interests at heart. As Shanita said, it's 5 minutes per team. How many people have iPhones? Take them out. Put on your timer. Put your, because you know how y'all do. You'll start talking, it'll go past the 5 minutes. You'll be like, oh, I have one more thing to say. Oh yeah, and then my partner has to talk. So leadership training means recognizing what the parameters are and staying within them, and you have tools at your disposal that help you do that. I'm gonna pull out my iPhone and make sure that I'm keeping time for, or are you keeping time? Who's keeping time? All right, great. Is there a team that wants to get us started? Okay, Phelps. Perfect. We have a mic coming to you, Treshana, so that people can hear you. You got your phone ready?
Yes.
All right.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
As a student ambassador at Phelps, I believe that having good teachers are essential to an effective learning environment, first and foremost. Good teachers provide education for their students to internalize and eventually reproduce. But great teachers manifest pride, perseverance, and a relentless pursuit of excellence. They are extremely supportive, and they dedicate time to their students. And they embedded excellence in their students. Without that reinforcement from teachers, students tend to lack educational motivation. In order to feel socially and emotionally supported within the school environment, teachers may dedicate an extensive period of tutoring, whether it be after school or during their lunch breaks. Also, students should uplift their peers, and this can be conducted through various study groups, educational and sports clubs, as well as extracurricular activities that we share together. Nonetheless, the student body feels as though it is very imperative that we take the requisite steps needed in enhancing our education. As a trade school, we are all problem solvers who enjoy taking on difficult tasks that are presented to us. However, we are at a disadvantage when we lack the proper equipment to complete certain tasks. The following are individual necessities that will improve our academic success as well as our extracurricular activities at Phelps. This was discussed in the SGA meeting, and we had a student body meeting as well. One was upgraded technology, including laptops, and Phelps followed a curriculum called Project Lead the Way. And we use equipment that we order from them. So enhanced equipment and more equipment ordered from Project Lead the Way will help. College readiness programs. We have one SAT program in our school, so more SAT programs will help and more college readiness programs. Lab equipment. Our chemistry teacher says she can't do it on her own. So if that means the students have to get together and get their parents to help, or we can ask you guys to help us. So more labs for chemistry and biology. My principal brought this to my attention, ROTC programs. He feels as though this would provide discipline within our students. New instruments. I'm in the band myself. I play the flute. So new instruments. And sometimes I have to share my flute with some of my students. So new instruments and enhanced musical programs. We have one musical club at Phelps, so more musical programs. Sponsors and coaches. We have football, basketball, soccer, and track and cheerleading. We couldn't have golf because we didn't have a coach. And this year we got new uniforms, so new uniforms as well can help us. But ultimately, as we invest in our education in the future, assisting one another with their short and long-term goals, reaching out to teachers for individual help, and being provided with the most effective strategies and equipment are all required and essential to each and one of our success. The future belongs to those who prepare for it today. Thank you.
Thank you, Treshana. So I just want to point something out. First of all, I want to say thank you for being willing to go first. I think you did an awesome job. You all are representatives, leaders of your school, and she actually gave an exceptional presentation. She was prepared, right? She had notes that she spoke from, but she didn't just read to us. If you're just going to read, you can just send it in, right? She talked to us. She told us that she had spoken to not just student leaders at her school, but to the student body and assessed what they wanted, and also consulted with principal and teachers to figure out what would be good for Phelps. And then she spoke animatedly and engagingly and compellingly and clearly. That's the kind of presentation that we're expecting from everybody. So if you feel a little sleepy or you feel a little tired, get it together. But Treshana set the standard for how we're gonna conduct this hearing, this testimony. Is that all right? All right. Okay, who's willing to go next? Thank you, Phelps.
I'm Jacob Leonard, and one thing that I think that, especially with my school, is that more work on teacher professional development. I think that students want to get to college, but as I did research online and PBS, that 40% to 50% of DC students and can continue to rise on some type of government help, and students need a extra push from the teachers. I feel that teachers, and I'm asking other students, teachers, they want students to get to college, but I think that they sort of lack the creativity to give the students that extra push. Students have like frequent complaints, like during non-core classes, like sort of like art and gym, are sort of getting infused with reading and mathematics. Like my 10th grade year at Calvin Coolidge Senior High School, my art teacher frequently had to stop the class because we had to do multiple writing assignments on the artwork, and I found myself doing more writing assignments than the actual artwork itself. Another thing students at Calvin Coolidge will want is like, I think everybody wants a better lunch. I'm finding that students are actually just basically throwing away money that because they find that the lunch is sort of not appealing,
Sure.
I guess. Another thing is like more choice of classes. When I first thing I noticed when I went to Calvin Coolidge High School, we only have one language. We only have Spanish. We don't have any other language, and that was surprising to me because actually my elementary and my middle school my middle school with DCPS, we actually had more classes than the high school, and I found that very surprising. Another thing I want to talk about, extended day. I know that's a big issue. Extended day, I feel it'd be more effective if students had more reinforcement on college preparatory and job training classes. I feel that the teachers and school doesn't really help you with that until your junior and senior year because you almost got that foot out the door. But I think that needs to be established your 9th and 10th grade year to really help you to really know that it starts in 9th grade, and that's what they tell you. But you really need that enforcement 9th and 10th grade year because you never know. You need those skills.
Well, I'm a freshman, and it is really a good experience of being at Coolidge. It was really tough going there because a lot of kids actually told me that Coolidge is a bad school, you shouldn't go there. And actually, I taught them wrong. I said that if all the smart kids go out to all the smart schools, what would you do? Would all this, well, I don't want to call them dumb, but off track, all the kids that's off track, how would they feel? They would feel like no one is looking upon them, no one is relating to them, nobody feels like they should be needed or seen. So I said that going to Coolidge, I know that there's no school better than another school because everyone is equal and everyone should be treated equal. And I said that going to Coolidge could actually affect me as being a leader, that I should help actual students that need help because students want to go to school, but they want their teachers and they want the staff to actually push them. And I said that extended day actually can be good if the teachers actually give creativity and put in actual work. And me as a freshman, I said that teachers should give them that because they don't want to come to school just to come to school. They come to school because their parents either tell them to go to school, and they don't really want to go to school because they don't have no one to relate on, no one that actually understands them. And I said that for my experience, I had experience at Whitty Education Campus before I went to Calvin Coolidge, and it was from 8:45 to 4:15, and it was really good. It actually gave them extra step for studying, and it related to how the students could actually build themselves up to put in more work for the classes. So I really think that they should be extended day, but the teacher should give an extra step in creativity to influence the students to come to school and motivate them in education.
Thank you, Jacob and Deanna. Give it up for the Coolidge team. Thank you. And Deanna's a 9th grader, y'all. Get it, girl. Who's next? All right, Diamond. And Kareem at Banneker.
Okay, I have notes. Good morning. My name is Diamond Gooding, and I am a senior at Benjamin Banneker High School under the exceptional leadership of Miss Anita Berger and her administrators and faculty. So I'm speaking solely on Banneker because Banneker has won many city titles for science fairs. We ranked top for over 30 years and have a yearly college acceptance and attendance rate of 100%. But, although of these accomplishments taking place in the conditions of the old Banneker building, it is unequal to put us achievers through a Stone Age learning environment. Being as though we are one of the highest ranked public schools in the district, we have yet to be touched, meaning our building. The school is standing in the same building it has been since occupied by middle school students. We have 2 labs and a library containing computers that are experiencing troubles connecting to Wi-Fi throughout the building. This is eliminating the time that students can be using for schoolwork. What is the problem? Money. We have lack of funding. We give you our statistics, you give us your funding. It's a win-win situation. No money is given to us. The money that you give to us will not be used in foul play, meaning the money that we are receiving from you will be used to better our classrooms. More textbooks for us. Our class set textbooks are about 15. It's 20 to 25 of us in a classroom. Promethean boards. There's about 2 classrooms in Banneker that have Promethean boards, and both are my math classes. What about the science, English classes, and other classes? All these things are needed to further our achievements in the classroom. As you may or may not know, our grading scale has changed at the set of DCPS regular grading scale, 90 to 100, so on and so forth. Now, that may be used for the assurance of success in Banneker, but that means more students will be admitted to Banneker, which means we need more money to assess those students. Also, if you give us more money, you will have an increase in investment for Banneker's system. As a senior, you may ask, why does it matter to me? I'm leaving next year. But that doesn't mean that I don't still care about Banneker.
Sure.
After I leave Banneker, that's still my school. That's my alma mater. I care about Banneker and its ongoing reputation just as much as the students who will remain there. Kareem. If you make this investment into our school, then you will better your budgeting as well as ours. Not saying take more money from the other schools, but build up your funding. Ask for more money so you can maintain a limit for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Diamond. Jesus Christmas.
Sorry, I'm tall.
You said that.
So I'm the sophomore class president at Banneker, and one of the problems or issues that people come to me and say is that they want better like metal detectors, because when we walk through the doors, a student, for example, would say that they could be naked and the metal detectors still go off whether they have something on them or not. It's basically like we're stripping down ourselves and we have to take off our belts and our shirts and whatnot, and we'll still beep. Also, students want more classes and electives like Spanish. Not just, we only have Spanish, Latin, and French. Students want Chinese, Mandarin, Japanese, Italian, even sign language. Students also want more clubs. I know we're starting a lacrosse club, but most of the clubs we have to fund on our own. We also fund science fair on our own because we house students with different economic backgrounds. Students also want more activities at the school. And so, so those are just some of the main issues that we have. But we would like to continue getting more funding, like Diamond said. Students want more technologies within the school because some of the computers we have don't really work that as well as they should. Like they're from 2000, I believe. And so that's what we would ask. And that's what like the majority of the issues that students or parents would bring up. And also the school building. I know we're being renovated next year, but that's solely the library. So we would like to have a more current building because our building is really old. And I know I have allergies. It's not like I get sick often at Banneker. So thank you.
Thank you. Which team would like to go next? Great. Woodrow Wilson High School.
My name is Bakari Cyber. I go to Woodrow Wilson High School. Why are we here? Honestly, why are we here? Is it because DCPS truly wants to hear what the students have to say? Or is it because DCPS knows that all the schools in the district are failing to provide a proper education for its students? But before we go into that, we must know what education is. Marcus Garvey said, education is the medium by which people are prepared for the creation of their own particular civilization and the advancement and glory of their own race. My school, Woodrow Wilson High School, is failing to prepare students to leave the safe umbrella of DCPS for the cruel weathers of life. I took a survey of a group of students, and 2 of the questions that were asked were, do you feel Woodrow Wilson has prepared you or is preparing you to take the PSAT/SAT and receive a high score? And do you believe that Wilson will prepare you to leave for college? For both questions, the majority of students answered no. If we truly want students to go through a smooth transition into adulthood, then we must first identify the source or sources of the problems that are preventing them from doing so. The on-class level the on-level classes at Wilson are mediocre. Most of the teachers assigned to these classes don't challenge students to exceed the expectations that are put on them, and on top of that, don't emphasize the fact that a lackadaisical attitude towards school is not going to get them through life nor college. Important classes such as SAT prep are a joke. There have been numerous accounts of teachers of those classes assigning busy work or no assignments at all, when they should be teaching test-taking techniques and going over subject matter that may be on the test. A common solution for these shortcomings that plague the students as a result is tutoring. There are very few opportunities for students to access a tutor, and is especially a tutor that is effective at their job in school. Private tutors are usually extremely expensive, but also extremely effective. This is not an option for most students at Wilson because the majority of us are students who can't afford these resources. This is evident from the amount of students that qualify for free and reduced lunch, testing fee waivers, or are compelled to attempt scholarships each year. Another issue that is constantly overlooked is special education. Unfortunately, DCPS has a bad history with how it handles special education. A big factor in this is the fact that students who participate in special education programs have trouble advocating for themselves, and in turn, DCPS uses the silence to its advantage to belittle the students who are confined to the isolated bubble that is Woodrow Wilson's special education program. As a student who has attended DC public schools all of my life, an older sibling of an autistic brother, and an individual has been presented with the amazing opportunity to stand in front of a great group of people, it is my duty, and one that I willingly accept, to ensure that all those students that come after me are receiving the best education that they possibly can attain, and that my school has the resources to give them that education. All of the problems I mentioned have one thing in common. They require money to function. Last year, Wilson's budget was cut by over $300,000. This has affected the amount of teachers that can be hired and much more. Research states that the ideal number of students in a classroom for an effective learning environment is 7 to 10 students or less. The average classroom at Wilson has 26 to 33 students in a class. With a population of about 2,000 students, you would expect that the teacher population be at least half as high in order for a proper learning environment to exist. But unfortunately, the ideal learning environment has been almost completely lost. With less than 300 teachers, staff is doing what they can. We need help, and that's obvious. There's only one instructional coach for these teachers. For those who don't know, an instructional coach is someone who helps teachers who are not effectively teaching learn new methods for instructing classes before they are fired on the spot. Currently, there is only one person who does this at Wilson. The funds that are normally reserved for the instructional coach must be doubled, if not tripled, so that Wilson can hire a second or third coach in order to make the process of education more efficient and one of higher quality. It is understandable that the staff does not always have the time to help students if they are struggling in class. We are human. You can only expect so much from us, but the solution is to increase the availability of after-school tutoring. This is a resource that every school in the district should have. To help limit the spending on individual schools, DCPS should create a program specifically for tutoring that is available for all students every day after school and even on weekends. This would allow students to adjust their schedules with ease while not having to worry about missing another activity or having to plan around a teacher's conflicting and always changing office hours. With these solutions in place, almost every student at Wilson will be able to reach a new level of academic success. I say almost because those with special needs may need something totally different. The solution to this is improving the training that dedicated aides receive. With a more flexible training, the dedicated aides should be able to adapt their lifestyle or adapt their teaching style to any student that requires their services. One child is not the same, and this is especially true for children with special needs. They deserve the same great education that every child should have access to, even at a slower pace and altered form in which they can comprehend. Now, I'm aware that my speech was very strong and blunt when addressing these certain issues, but I said such things to show you how strongly I feel about my school and DCPS. I wish nothing but the best and further improvement of the school system, and in fact, I commend you for taking the time and effort to receive and listen to the people whose lives you are affecting with every policy that you institute. I look forward to possibly working with DCPS in the future. Thank you for your time.
All right, Bakari, thank you. We would love to have you come work with DCPS in the future. That was Wilson with Bakari and Zoe. All righty, yes, sir. Tell me what school you're with? Oh, School Without Walls, yep. Were you all here when we did introductions? Yes. Okay.
My name is Lawrence Cross, and I'm from School Without Walls. So, as many of you know, our school is a very academically challenging school, but I mean, that's not to say that, as many of you have also said, you want more than academics incorporated into your school. So, you know, our school brings upon a lot of stress, and on top of that, you know, it's just, we feel that there's not as many electives as we should have. So we feel that we should have things such as like stress management, time management classes after school, things that present or help with life skills, so like accounting or classes on taxing, and those could even be like electives, you know, however DCPS wants to sort that out. But we also feel that classes such as African American history should be incorporated into every school, because that's an elective that we have, and I'm not sure that many other DC public schools have that class available for their schools. So we just feel that, you know, schools shouldn't be so academically focused. There should be other things, you know, such as life skills, because when we leave high school, college is like, you know, college is academic, but you also have to like manage yourself, manage your own time. You know, you have to pay bills, you have to manage your money. So different things like that, I feel, should be incorporated into the school system or after school. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Liliana Campos, and throughout my time as a student, I've been confronted with every type of teacher imaginable, from the no-nonsense ones to the ones that want to change the world through every student. And having met all of these different type of teachers, I've learned to notice which ones are the good ones. And those typically, to me, are the ones that challenge me the most. They're the ones that build bonds with their students, and you can joke around with them and you feel accepted by them, and you don't notice them take favorites at all. But when it comes time to actually learn, they really put their foot down. They're serious enough to semi-scare you into paying close attention in their classes, but not serious enough for them to seem condescending in any way. I believe that these teachers not only demand respect, but they earn it. And that's really important, because it's one thing to be forced to respect someone, and then another thing to actually believe that someone deserves respect. In doing this, these teachers make us want to learn even more, because we feel a connection with them, and we know that they won't take any of our nonsense at all. And I believe that's what makes a really great teacher: the ability to build bonds with their students and the ability to have a serious decorum when it comes to effectively teaching a class. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, which team we got? Cardozo over here.
So good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Carol Menso, like I previously stated, and I'm a senior at Cardozo Education Campus. I will be talking about characteristic of a good teacher. We have wonderful teachers here at Cardozo Education Campus, but some of these teachers don't offer good feedback. For example, if a student does their work and they want to find out whether or not they actually did good or bad on the work, some of the teachers don't offer that feedback. Oh, you're doing good, keep up, or maybe this is what you should be working on, work harder. We have good teachers that offer really good student-teacher relationship. For example, I can go to my AP literature teacher and talk to him whether it's about school-related work or out-of-school related work. Some support that students can be offered, for example, would be makeup days. Some students don't get all the assignment that teachers speak during school hours. So maybe after school, if they stick around and teachers are able to give them that one-on-one assessment, that'll be able to help them more. Positive feedback from teachers is really needed, because some students can't do it on their own, and some teachers don't acknowledge that. And I will let my partner here, Daniela, speak about the rest.
Hi, everybody. So I think one of the great barriers for a lot of student success is AP classes, because I know for a fact all the schools do not offer the same classes, and it's not fair, because, you know, sometimes you can't get into the school you want to, you know, have the classes you want to take because you're out of boundary. And, you know, I feel like maybe you should all schools should have the same amount of AP classes.
Say it, girl. Say it.
And because I wanted to take AP Micro and they didn't have it, so I was pretty upset about that. But and also clubs and what's it called? Clubs and stuff like that. Yeah, we need a lot of that because they offer some, but the basic, I know other schools because I have friends that go to other schools and they tell me, yeah, I'm in this club. I'm like, what? I don't have that. And it's not fair. And science labs, like other people were talking about, I think we should also need a lot of funding in that because most of our labs are virtual labs and it's not the same as doing the actual thing. And also, okay, so social and emotional support. So I know at our school we have a lot of international students, and one thing that I see is everyone's always in their own group. Our students are not very emerge, and I think we should change that because everyone who comes from their own country, they always stay together, and we have lunch together, and I don't think that's right. So I feel maybe we should do events or stuff like that to make sure that all the students come together, and so our school can be more diverse. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Alrighty, Duke Ellington.
Thank you, Chancellor Henderson and distinguished members of the DCPS leadership team. My name is Sam Sherman. I'm a senior at the Duke Ellington School of the Arts, and I'm a theater student.
And my name is Mariah Stewart. I'm also a senior at Duke Ellington School of the Arts, and I'm in the Museum Studies Department.
And to start off, we want to ask, so you had asked, what skills and qualities make up a good teacher? We know that a teacher must have a willingness to learn from their students. We're all human beings. We don't know everything the second we walk into that classroom. And knowing this, we also must understand that not all students learn in the same way. Some will learn visually, some learn kinesthetically. We all have different ways of learning. So if there was a way for teachers to sit one-on-one with their students and individually hear what helps them learn best, I believe this would be very effective. We also know that this is the 21st century, and subjects are not isolated. Everything is connected. Math is connected to English. English is connected to what we do in our instrumental department, in our theater department. We understand this to be true. So if there was a way for professional or peer development meetings to be had where a teacher in math could meet with a teacher in our instrumental department and discuss maybe how math plays into the sound of music, things like this, because we know there is a science to that. I believe this will be very effective in creating a more synchronized educational facility. And also, at the core of respect between student-teacher relationships is the love a teacher must have for their students. That love is essential to creating that bond and cementing that bond.
In order to be supported in and out of the school, we need to develop more student-to-student mentorships. So after me and Sam last year had the opportunity to be a part of the Aspen Challenge, one of our things that we really wanted to focus on is the development of freshmen and sophomores. Upperclassmen mentor and tutor freshmen and sophomores, and you get to have that one-on-one experience with how they're feeling without them having to open up with an adult they may not know or anything else, and it helps them really guide into the high school life and adjust well frequently. Another thing we need is you need a strong and good counseling team. Amen. Not just one that you come to if you need a report card, a transcript, or anything else. Someone that's actually going to be with you all of your 4 years and that's going to help you succeed and make sure you're on track to graduate high school. Another thing is juniors and seniors effectively need the opportunity to explore career interests outside of school during the school day to help be focused on real-life experiences before leaving for college. I have the opportunity now. I have an internship at Homeland Security, and with that I'm able to develop different things within my department between space development and interior design, which I want to go into for college, which I think leads into our next part.
Sure. So this, ties into our last point, and we believe that, now, we already have an extended school day at Ellington. We go from 8 to 5, so we do have to disagree with extending our school day any further. Just saying, making that clear. But with regards to extending the school year, we know that our school already has several intensive programs in place in the art disciplines, and it's also functioning through SYEP. So we believe that rather than extending the school year and extending classroom time, we know that for high school students, it's essential that we have time outside of the classroom to understand how we can contribute to making a better world. I mean, that's what we're trying to do as people and as students. And so, and also, like, we know that intensives or that extending the school year would get in the way of us participating in intensives. I had the opportunity to study at the British American Drama Academy in Oxford through my school. And so that opportunity I wouldn't have gotten had we extended the school year anymore.
And I think that if we put more money into actually effectively putting money into bettering our intensives, that it will help us not only for high school students who may need to earn that money during the summer, that it helps us actually move on throughout the years and things like that. I think also between our school and DCPS, that DCPS needs to make better experiences in order to make us better competitive when going out into the real world and better competitive when you're applying for colleges or anything else, so we can put our name out there and be effectively better in the world.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I will go with, let's see, Anacostia, Eastern, McKinley, and then Luke Seymour. Can somebody keep that order for me? Because I'll forget.
Good morning. My name is Samuel Green, and I attend Anacostia Senior High School, and I'm a junior.
Good morning. My name is Giovanna Burkett. I'm a senior at Anacostia High School.
Samuel, talk to them, not to the microphone.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
And I said, I recently surveyed some of my classmates about what characteristics make up a good teacher. The answer I received most often was intelligent, meaning they know and understand what they're teaching. Caring, meaning they understand your side/reasoning. And empathetic, meaning they know what you're going through, listen to you, and try to give you advice. Some of our teachers are actually alumni of Anacostia, so they know about the neighborhood and about what you may be going through throughout the school and can give you advice of how they got through it. And I said it also helps to know that the teacher is dedicated to teaching the concept and not focus on students memorizing the information, meaning anyone can memorize information to get a good grade, but I think it's more important to ensure that you understand the concept and can apply it in real-life situations and have enough knowledge to teach someone else. Also, we would like to see more languages in Anacostia because all we mainly have is Spanish, and we would like to see more college readiness courses because we have a class called Aspire, but in that class, not all of the students are really focused and really care about that class. They mainly think that's a class to just sit around or get on their phone, talk to their friends, but the teachers are trying to make sure that it's for college readiness, but that's not what is being shown. And we like to see more textbooks because, for example, my history class, we don't even have enough textbooks for the entire class. We have to share, and it's hard because everyone wants to have their own, and you have to turn it, and you don't get the notes, you don't finish the notes, and you have to go home with your work not finished, and you're stuck the next day when you have to complete it.
To follow up on what he said, a lot of the students in my classes, especially in my AP history class, normally you would think that we use textbooks. Well, we don't. We don't have any textbooks. Well, we do, but they're not available for everyone's use. And I did a study, I did a survey. 40 people responded, and those were all the surveys that I printed out. People showed that they didn't want a longer school. They actually did not want a shorter school day. They wanted more AP classes, and they wanted more rigorous courses. And they also wanted more sports variety, such as fencing, swimming, and anything else that you could think of. And another thing was a lot of people came to me when I said, what would you do to improve your school? They said that they would add more language books. They would add more books in foreign languages to help assist them in their studies. And they would also add no, that's mainly what it is. But they also felt as though they were not properly prepared in their SAT and college preparation courses. and they felt as though the teachers were being condescending with them. And they felt as though the teachers were treating them as children, constantly referring to the border between adults and teenagers, and they felt as though they would need to act more mature if people raised the bar for them. And if the teachers and the school actually showed them more attention and just prepared them for real life, because we're 12th graders, so we're going to be out in the world next year. So that's what, and I feel very strongly about that as well. So.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Eastern.
My name is Yasmin Branscombe. I'm a senior at Eastern Senior High School.
And my name is Antonio Hammett, and I'm a junior at Eastern Senior High School.
So one of the things we're going to be focusing on today is the mindset of students that they need to have in order to succeed. A lot of the other schools are concerned with actually the learning process, but there's a lot of students who don't have the motivation to learn. And this is the most important thing in school. We do have a lot of programs at Eastern, like the Future Project, that takes other students in order to mentor their peers to make them more motivated to come to school, because there's no use in enhancing the academic programs if there's no one to sit in the classes. So one way we motivate students to come to school is we have a lot of different events during the school year sponsored by the Future Project. So we'll have like Dot Day. On Dot Day, we talked about our goals, and with the Future Project, you help people out with their goals. So if they weren't thinking about school before, now they have an image of what they can do with their life and how school will actually benefit them. Our second point is how to culminate successful students. So teachers are a big part in this, and this also goes with the how teachers are. So it is important that teachers are passionate and confident in what they teach. So when teachers are passionate, you have a passion to learn because they know what they're talking about and they're excited to come to work. Those teachers who come to school for a paycheck don't benefit any of us because it's apparent that they have no passion to teach and they really don't. It doesn't benefit anyone in the situation. They go home upset. We go home without learning anything. And also, they need to be experienced because something that I have learned is the teachers who tend to be fresh out of college and they come in to teach high school students, they're in our age range. So there's a lack of respect, especially if they're not experienced with teaching anyone else. So I would prefer that in the future, when hiring teachers for high school, their experiences are considered so to benefit everyone in the situation. Lastly, we want to talk about the extended school day. So I personally don't think that the extended school day would benefit students, especially athletes. In DCPS, we don't really have a big record of sending students to school for athletic reasons. And an extended school day would stop this even more. I'm a manager for the basketball team and the football team, and I work with the athletic trainer. So my school day is generally from like 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And there's still work that needs to be done at home. If the student athletes are spending all this time at school and they don't have time to do their homework, then their academics, it'll make them have to choose between athletics and academics. In most schools, when they're looking for athletes, they want to see a balance of the two. To continue this, I'm going to pass it over to my partner.
Okay, at first I want to address the issue of going upon the extended school day. I'm a manager for 2 different dance groups. I also sing in a choir. It's called the Washington Youth Choir. I'm also part of SGA, and there's countless other things that I do. Now, my school, Eastern Senior High School, we have something called Pow Hour. We all get out of school at 3:30, and if you need help with a certain teacher or a certain subject, and your teacher is not there, there is the time from 3:30 to 4:30, and through that time, you can study, do your homework, go to a teacher, discuss grades, etc. And that time should be used other than the extending the school day. Another thing about extending the school year is that for me, myself, I was chosen to go to North Carolina, go talk to the YMCA Youth and Government Program to discuss about U.S. problems, the entire U.S. and their problems. And that was at the beginning of the summer. So if we had an extended school year, I would not have never got that opportunity because my time would have been up. Yeah. Okay, that's it.
All right, thank you, Easton. I got McKinley up next.
Hello, my name is Lonnie Dorn, and I'm a senior biotechnology student at McKinley Technology High School.
I am Tamba House. I'm a senior engineering student at McKinley Technology High School.
As a senior at McKinley, I feel I am mostly prepared for college next year. I've started the application process and will soon start searching for scholarship opportunities to help my post-secondary education. Some of my greatest barriers I've encountered are finances, understanding loans, and how we as students will pay for our education. I personally have not found out about student loans and financial aid and FAFSA until my senior year of high school. So I believe more emphasis needs to be placed earlier on what it actually costs to go to school and how my family will pay for it. Scholarship opportunities can be developed and given to younger students, as well as opportunities for financial literacy classes, both of which can aid in understanding student loan debt or how not to have any at all. The majority of the teachers at McKinley are great. Now you may ask what makes them great. They're well-educated, experienced, and they offer interactive classrooms that make us feel more comfortable so that we will be more engaged and not bored and not want to learn. Our classroom experience could increase if all teachers had books for their classes and if they could somehow be cross-trained to handle situations like if a teacher leaves suddenly.
The school can offer a number of supports to make sure other students don't fall behind, such as social and emotional support to deal with family issues, clubs and organizations that we can join for our areas of interest. Having the two above can drastically change the outcome of a student's life. Additionally, if McKinley was able to offer a 1-to-1 laptop ratio, multiple computer labs equipped with computers, printers, ink, and paper, and an adequate heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system that allows students to be more comfortable as they learn. This would change the course of our learning. Our school culture at McKinley is drastically lacking. I'm not sure why, but it could be that our administration often changes because McKinley is a great school to train new assistant principals. Ways that our culture could be improved includes more pep rallies, school-wide assemblies, battle of the classes, and student versus teacher sports events. Acknowledging students for good grades is a small gesture that doesn't require a lot of money, but makes students feel special. Starting school traditions, like some of what was just said, will help bring McKinley together, something that is hard to do because our classmates come from all 8 wards. As a high school senior, we work extremely hard to maintain our grades, applying for college and submitting scholarship applications. An increased school year will hinder our progress. In addition to making it harder to get prepared for college, it will also create an even longer day for sports players, hindering students from obtaining internships or jobs after school or through early release, as well as hurt families that rely on older siblings who care for younger siblings after school. Teachers also need a break. Our summer youth employment program will be delayed and vacations will be affected. The summertime is downtime for students and teachers.
My overall education at McKinley has been a good one. One filled with opportunities to succeed, to try and learn new things, stretch my horizons, and create possibilities that aren't possible at other DCPS schools. But through it all, there's still a long way to go for us to become the top STEM school in the nation. We won't be able to be directly affected by the upcoming changes, but we hope that through this testimony, DCPS, DC government, and the powers that be may see fit that all schools need more money to ensure the students receive the best education possible.
Thank you. You got Luke next. Thank you, McKinley.
Good morning. My name is Rachel Rice, and I'm from Luke Seymour High School, and
Rachel,
I'm a senior.
what's your last name again?
Rice.
Rice, okay.
I'm Brandon Sumter, a senior at Luke Seymour High School.
As you guys may know, our high school is not like most of you guys' high school. We're alternative high school, whereas the people who act up in most of you guys' school have the second opportunities to come to our school. I want to talk about the focus that students don't and do have in the school. So for me, I do have a focus, but in certain classes I don't have a focus because the teacher can be kind of boring with the lesson, and I'm more so of a hands-on visual type of learner. So I would like to see more like field trips, going to like having the lesson include a field trip with it. Like my U.S. history teacher, she did a lesson on African American, and we actually visit the African American History Museum and the Art Museum to see the different things that happened throughout the African American history. And then she also, she's a law student, so she used one of her law courses in our curriculum, which was a briefcase, which is to take a case and just kind of discuss what happened. And the case we did was Dred Scott versus Stanford. It's a what's the word I'm looking for? It's a slavery case, but in actuality, it's a case that helps understand what's going on. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You have anything you want to say?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Tim, what school you? Oh, Ballous Day. And then, is that your hand up? Okay, Ballous Day, Washington, Matt, Roosevelt Day. We got a little stay action. And then, say it again. Oh, Dunbar, okay. Okay. Welcome, friends from Ballous Day.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Aaron Long, and I'm a senior at Ballous Day.
And my name is Marquisha Emmett, and I am also a senior at Ballous Day.
Like Luke Seymour and Roosevelt Day, we are also an alternative school, meaning that along the way we got sidetracked, or some of us dropped out, or just 9 times out of 10, we just had alternative reasons for why we didn't finish high school. So when you go to Ballous Day, you see a big, beautiful new school, but for us being Ballous Day students, we had to walk around the hill, up the street, and then we go to our one little floor, just one little floor at Blue. And that 9 times out of 10, for students like myself and Marquisha, we just want more. We need more. Let me calm down.
Take your time.
I'm trying to rush. All right, so let me calm down. We need more that's ours. We need, we have a library in the school, but that's for Blue. We have labs in the school, but that's also for Blue. So if we can have, football teams, that's ours. We have a basketball team, but that's pretty much the only thing that we have. We have a cheerleading team, but that's Blue. We have, outside activities that we know about, but that's for Blue. So 9 times out of 10, why do I keep saying 9 times out of 10? What I'm trying to say is that we need more funding for our school so that we can be productive outside of school. Why do I keep getting nervous? We need more stuff outside of school and in school so that we don't feel discouraged again to leave high school. With this being my senior year, let me just be real for a second. I started school in 2008. I'm 21 now, and I dropped out of school. I went to McKinley Tech, Thurgood Marshall. I went to Perry Street Prep and a bunch of other DC public schools. And the reason why I left those schools is because I didn't feel prepared for college. And now I'm being 21, I know that I'm prepared because I go to Ballous Day, because my teachers, they take the time out their day to tell me what I'm doing. And then my vice principal in the back, she and my principal, they're one of the reasons why I continue to come to school. Mm-hmm. And I didn't have that opportunity at the past 4 or 5 schools that I went to. Yeah, so.
Super, thanks.
In the past, I thought a good teacher was someone who knew all of their students and communicated with the parents. But now I believe that a good teacher is someone who you can talk to, trust, and they can keep it 100 with you no matter how harsh, whatever they say might seem, and just prepare you for the real world, life outside of school.
Also, a good teacher acts as a champion on your behalf. They also push their students to seek their full potential. A good teacher goes over the course material the amount of times needed, just so we understand. That's what I love about Ballous Day, because my teachers, even though I only have 5, my teachers, they go over every single thing, just the amount of times that we need it. But also, I wish that Blue State had how regular schools have AP classes. Even though this is my senior year, I just wish they incorporate it when I leave. Because for me, I personally feel like I'm smarter than the material, and I didn't leave school because I thought I was stupid. I left school because I felt like I wasn't prepared for college. Because my teachers, they bypass things, they'll skip through the material and just leave me with more questions than I had when we started the coursework. And so I think if we at Blue State and Roosevelt State and Luke Seymour, we have more resources outside of our principals and our teachers, I personally think that we need counselors, because there are students in school who wants to learn, but there are also students inside the school that needs counselship, is that a word?
Counseling.
Because there are some students some juniors, but that 1 minute just threw me off. But you have juniors who can become seniors, but they continue to stay juniors because they're struggling. And on top of the extended day schedule, it wouldn't affect me personally because I'm a senior, but we don't need an already long day.
Sure, you gotta.
Because we got school at 4:15. So I just personally think if you were to add 1 to 2 extra hours, that it should be spent for college readiness and preparing our students for life outside of high school.
Super.
We're done.
Thank you. Roosevelt State. Oh, no? Sorry. Washington Met. Washington Met, then Roosevelt State. Sorry, ladies.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jerome Pedicolis along with
Victor Machado.
So hold on. Remember that the microphone does not help us in here, so I need you all to speak to us, speak up, keep the mic so that the people on TV can hear you, but go for it.
Along with a few other schools, Washington Metropolitan High School is also an alternative school. And throughout the course of the morning, I heard lots of people speak about what makes a better teacher, but I really didn't hear anyone speak about what makes a better student. And for us being an alternative school, it's really hard for us to keep up with kids from not dropping out or encouraging them to come to school. And lots of those reasons are for kids who is enthused to come to school or encouraged to come to school. Coming to an alternative school, such as ourselves still being in an elementary school, it really makes us feel like we're not wanted there, we're not welcome. So one of the things that I feel as if that we can change, or for alternative school or for all schools, is better equipment. For us in the alternative school, we need better textbooks, we need math equipment, far as scales, and most of our students are hands-on. Or for our science lab, where we need better beakers and speakers and things of that nature. We also, for students who are enthused for cheerleading and basketball, as far as academics and sports, we need to make them feel more enthused to come to school and keeping up their grades and participating in these things. We need better uniforms, because we are still reusing uniforms for 3 and 2 seasons ago for cheerleaders and basketball players. And if we are able to get more sports involved, like soccer, or some want field hockey and others want football. Another thing that we wanted to talk about is more things like in-school activities, as far as after-school activities. We have a student government association, but more kids like to have a debate team, or more kids like to have things that suits them, like a school choir, or we want to have more competition, so therefore the cheerleaders can feel like they're more welcome versus just cheering and practicing for the basketball games. We also wanted to speak on, or I also wanted to speak on, far as the teachers, between student and teacher interacting. Most students feel that the teacher are there because it's an alternative school, so they treat us as if we are an alternative school. So most kids does not really feel that the teachers are welcoming them in, and we also still have teachers who feel as if they see the kids that are trying, and then they help only those students. So they kind of cancel out the class clowns or the behavioral kids. And those kids act the way they do is because of the class setting. So I feel maybe if they feel more welcome to the class or welcome to a school, then they'll act better towards the alternative school.
I would start by stating that there seems to be a barrier between students and faculty members. A good example would be the class clown. I have known and to this day still know people who play, joke, and laugh every day, but yet there are intelligent students. I believe that kindness, time, and attention is needed because too often I hear or see teachers giving up on our youth. I know this is true because I myself used to be among those with no future. I, in my honest opinion, believe that my school has great potential. I want funding for my school so we would be able to go on trips and be able to see things that that the kids won't be able to see from the life that they already know. The teachers need materials to be able to teach students in a more defined way. I also believe that we should be relocated to a bigger school instead of remodeling because our school is in an old elementary building. A support I think we need in our school is tutoring because a lot of students now need to relearn some of the basic materials forgotten over time. What I think is a barrier for kids now wanting to go to college is their communities. The violence, easy money, and influence of drugs are damaging not only society but even our schools. I believe that we can handle these problems by trying to get parents involved. I believe that school is a tool that many overlook now. Education is the way to come about change that many kids seek illegally. I personally believe that kids at my school are in need of resources.
All right. Thank you, Victor and Jerome. Roosevelt Stay.
Hi, I'm Ariel Akins, and I am a class senior president of Roosevelt Stay.
Hi, I'm Destiny. I'm just a senior at Roosevelt Stay.
Like everybody touched on, teachers that are ready for our students. So we have teachers that come fresh out of college and they're not prepared for us. They're not prepared for the ones that joke around. They let the ones that joke around get to them personally, and you know, those are the ones that have things going on outside of school. So we need counselors that are inside the classes, helping out the students, making sure that student is getting their work done, because we have boys that are probably in group homes and things like that, so they come to school and they take it for a joke because they're just being rushed to come to school. But they also need to have that push and that person that they can, you know, go to and tell them like, okay, today's not a good day, but can I, you know, get my work come in your office? Can I at least get my grade for today? Also, more equipment for our science classes, because we are in alternative school, but we haven't yet did experiments, and we're doing this thing called gizmos, and that's, some students are not, we have students that are like 21 and up, and they don't know, some people don't know computers, and they don't really care for it, so they take it for a joke. Also, our own school. So we're in this school called Sharp Health, and it's kind of different because, like, bathrooms, we don't have our own stall. Like, it's one bathroom that probably has a door, and we have to go in and out, and it's a whole bunch of girls that have to probably use the bathroom. So that's a problem also. I think it was for special needs kids before us, and so we have a bathroom that doesn't lock, and people run in and out, things like that. So that's an issue. Better computers. We have computers that move slow, and work-wise, we only have a certain amount of time in that class. We don't get our work done all the way, and then we have something that's due maybe the next day. Some kids don't have that opportunity to go home and work on that work that they had to do during class. Some people have to, well, they want to stay after school, but they don't have the opportunity, because if they don't have, like, chilling like me and Destiny here, then they have to go out the building, and they don't have the opportunity to stay after with a tutor or someone that, you know, maybe like a college student that can come and help us hands-on and be there with us and, you know, get us through that obstacle. Destiny, you had anything else?
So when you think about Roosevelt State, you think about, oh, these are bad kids, or these are kids that dropped out just because they wanted to drop out or whatever. But I'm only 16, so I didn't drop out. I just look for another way to learn. Sure. And y'all place us in a box with all the other schools. They have all these other extracurricular activities and all this. And we're just sitting over here like, oh, I have to go to Roosevelt to play this, and I have to go to Roosevelt to do that. But I don't want to go to Roosevelt. I go to Roosevelt Stay. Mm-hmm. So that's one thing I do want to change about my school. Also, I'm a senior, so I want to go to senior prom. I want to go to senior trips and all that. But we don't get that. And that's, like, because we don't have the funding to get that. So
that's another thing that we also have a funding on. And then, more support. Like, some of our students, they just need that teacher to go knock on their door and be like, hey, what's going on? Like, come to school. Like, we just need a more push on teachers, on our staff. Like, my principal is awesome. My vice principals are awesome, but it's just 2 people. We need teachers. Like, I think that's all. We just need that push for alternate schools.
And also,
Go ahead.
one more thing. Also, some schools have daycare. I know Bell does, and I'm a mom, and I go to Roswell State. I never dropped out or anything, but daycare is a big thing, and some people have to take their children to a down the street daycare, and something's going on, and I think having a daycare in that school, you know, we have an hour lunch. That mom or that dad can go and see their child and, you know, spend lunch with that child and things like that. Because I go all day from 8, first class is at 10, and I get out of cheerleading practice at 7, and when I get home, it's mommy time, and I don't have that, you know, that's a big space in that day, and that's from Monday to Thursday. So having a daycare in the school for moms that are my age or, you know, younger, that would probably be something that I think would be effective, and that mom will probably have that, you know, the child in the mind, but also like, okay, I'm in here for a reason. I'm learning, I'm going to school, and I'm doing what I have to do. So that too. Thank you.
Who's next? Do I have anybody next?
Dunbar.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Monet Rogers, and I am a senior at Dunbar High School. And
I am Christian Austin. I'm also a senior at Dunbar Senior High School.
okay. So firstly, I want to talk about a good teacher. A good teacher is important because they teach students to learn and comprehend and understand and recall information. A good teacher isn't defined by how many A's they give or how high a student's test scores are, because those change based on the student's want to learn. Okay, good teachers need to be lenient and supportive of their students in their everyday life situations. They need to understand that they are not our only teachers, just like we're not their only students. We get a lot of work just like they get a lot of work. And sometimes that work fluctuates in difficulty and intensity. No student is the same. They have different lives, different priorities, and especially different ways of learning. By providing a variety of learning techniques, they can accommodate different students and help them establish trust and build relationships, which is important for a student to feel safe and secure in the school environment. So for example, let's say you have an autistic student. They might want to draw their homework instead of writing it every day. Or let's say you have people that prefer to work in groups. They want to work in groups instead of individually. This trust is important because it helps students feel safe in school, like I said. And a good teacher also needs to be able to accommodate their students and maneuver their lessons around the students' lives. Because trust me, you'll need it isn't good enough for us. Students also need to know they have support at school by having more clubs and pep rallies. And also plays, concerts, and field trips are also good ideas to increase school spirit and also school performance. Now, I also believe that programs such as Twilight, so Twilight is like a night school and also Khan Academy. These programs, while they are mainly used to boost students' grades and skill performance, I think they should be used to speed up graduation rates because it's the 21st century. 4 years of high school is not necessary. You could get you could do all your courses and get your 100 hours of community service in 3 years or 2.5 years. So I think we need that. Also, I do not support extended school days or school years because I'm sorry to say, I think that's the worst idea you could ever have. The reason it's absurd is because it would drastically lower the attendance rates of DCPS schools. Because already students struggle to come to school, and you expect them to stay in school and to stay all year round for 2 extra hours. And I mean, that's not going to happen. And even as someone who is in the top of my class, I can tell you that I wouldn't come to school. And also, I think that Dunbar has 85-minute classes. I don't know if everyone else does here too, but that's long enough. We don't need to extend that.
I believe the greatest barrier standing between our students and our success is the lack of understanding of us and our backgrounds. Like, they don't understand why we are the way that we are. So, for example, if a student doesn't have a father in his life, I think there should be skills and electives and classes like so that they will teach him how to tie, how to dress, when to do certain things. Excuse me. Schools need to know what kids need to get like out of school. So kids, I'm sorry. Kids need skills to help them get jobs. They need life skills like how to buy a house or a car. Classes should have more meaning. Math should be more relevant to students. In English, we should be able to read what's interesting to us. Science should have more experiments, and history should be helping us learn how we can make history rather than focusing on the past. Students need support. Students need support if they are not going to fall behind. Some of that can come from other students. Strong students can help struggling students. But students also need strong relationships with the adults in the building. That takes time because the adults have to earn the students' trust and respect. The adults should focus on that instead of focusing on getting students who are acting the fool out of their schools. And school has to help students who don't want to go to college. More students will come if they felt school would get them a job. Instead, everyone is pushing, you have to go to college, but college isn't for everyone. Schools could also provide rewards for grades. Like for me, my mom pays me for every A I get. Some kids aren't used to getting rewards for anything. To feel more socially and emotionally supported, schools need more clubs, more activities, and more adults we can relate to. For example, my head football coach, Coach Joe, he came up just like I did. Grew up in Southeast D.C., played football at Dunbar, and played at the collegiate level at North Carolina Central. He doesn't only push sports, he pushes academics also, using an hour study hall and academic progress sheets. Students also need clubs and activities with adults like him leading them. I don't support an extended day or an extended school year. It will not help the kids. It's meant to help. They just won't come. It makes it more dangerous for some kids who have after-school commitments because we will be coming home even more later than we are. It makes fewer kids want to join clubs. I'm in the top 10 in my class, but if you extend the day, I probably won't come neither.
Yes, you would.
What the kids who are struggling need is one-on-one attention in smaller classes. They need to feel that schools is going to teach them how to get a job, introduce them to people doing the kinds of jobs they're interested in, and help them get internships. Thank you.
Super, thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Tiandra Ames, and I am SGA president at representing Ballou Senior High School.
Good morning, I'm Jasmine Jackson, and I'm SGA as well, Public Relations Officer, and I'm senior at Ballou High School.
Okay. First, I want to talk about the teachers. As some of y'all may know, Ballou was reconstituted last year. So as a senior, it's kind of hard knowing that most of the teachers that we have are gone. Only because as a senior, we need recommendations and we need the support from the teachers that we've known for a long period of time. So it's kind of hard, and especially trying to get into contact with them. Only because last year we were only supposed to use their at dc.gov email addresses. So it's kind of hard to get in contact with them because we don't have their regular emails. And also, we just got rid of our counselor. She just moved up into a higher order position, so she's not with a counselor no more. So we no longer, as a senior, has a counselor. So now all we're dealing with are new teachers, a brand new principal, and no counselor. And an assistant principal who was working with the ninth graders last year because we got rid of the assistant principal as well that was with us. So it's kind of hard. And I know that teachers are a big thing, especially for our seniors, because we need the moral support, especially with the intensity coming on with us with college and applying for colleges, and it's really hard. I can say that Ballou, we are a school that has been talked about, and it's like a dark cloud upon our head. But it has been some great opportunities that had came to us with us winning the Aspen Challenge last year and starting a peer mediation program in our school. With our school going to the Turkey Bowl last year and are in the playoffs again this year. And I just think that we don't have SAT prep no more. They took it out of the school. That's no longer there. We were like tutoring back only because I think it would have boosted the grades back up. Grades has drastically gone up. Right now, the seniors are in competition with the ninth graders because we are battling with the most honor roll right now. And my sister kind of trumped me coming in ninth grade with all A's. And we do have credit recovery, but credit recovery is not offered to people who need it. They're more so giving credit recovery to people who just need the extra credit just to get out of school, instead of people who need the class because they missed a class or failed the class. At Ballou, the three main sports that have a lot of school spirit is the band, of course, the football team, and the cheerleaders. We are the main school spirit of the school, but we fund our own products. We have to pay for everything that come out of our pockets. And it's kind of hard only because for like the dancers, we have to pay a $2,000 bus just to go to Virginia to do a competition and to come back. And so it's kind of hard. We have a drama class with no drama teacher. So, yeah, and it's like we got a brand new building and we're not getting the moral support that we need. And it's more so of supporting the kids who do bad. Like for our homecoming week, we got our pep rally shut down because of the fight, which were the juniors, and the seniors had nothing to do with, but our homecoming got canceled because of them, which was totally unfair because as a senior, I would want to do it all the way up for my year. So, yeah, I think that's it.
All right, thank you.
Hi, as I said before, my name is Natalie Estrella, and I'm a junior at Bell High School.
Natalie, can you hear Natalie down there? No. You gotta speak a little louder, Natalie.
So we believe that the greatest barrier in our school right now is that students, they're not receiving like information like correctly, like it's not being announced. Like for example, we have certain scholarships that no students know about. We need like more access to the library. I know we have a library, but students, like most of the time, they're not allowed to go in there because we only have one librarian. But we have two libraries, one in the middle school side and one in the high school side. Also, we need more printers. I know I wanted to print out a project, but I couldn't because like no printer was working. Also, laptops. All of our projects, actually, they have to be typed, and our laptops are slow. I know yesterday I was typing my project, and it got deleted because it wasn't working. So I had to start over again. And, yeah, I believe that's it.
Hello. Again, my name is Maharat Hassanu, and I'm the junior class president at Bell Multicultural High School. And another thing that we seem to be lacking at our school is college exposure, and that means just tours aligned with the student interests. So I know a lot of students at Bell want to go towards engineering or pre-med or the arts, or we all have different interests, but we don't have college trips or even internships available for us to go to. So we just say that we want to do these things, but we don't really familiarize ourselves with them. So we need fundings for more field trips, and we also do have an international field trips. So we do exchange programs where we have 2 students come from Europe and stay at Bell for 2 months, and then we send back several students from Bell and stay at the country that the other kids came from for another 2 months. And we just communicate with other countries and other schools. But I recognize that I wasn't aware of that program until last year, and I've been going to Bell for the past 5 years. So not that I stayed back, it's just middle school and high school. And that was just, like Natalie said earlier, it's just lack of resources. They're not aware of these things, and we just need fundings for more advertisements, whether it be through social media or even like providing students with weekly newsletters so they know what is going on with the school and all the scholarships and internships available for students to grow and actually be interested in coming to school and wanting to do that without being forced. About the extended day, I also disagree with that. And like the Dunbar Senior High School students said that, I wouldn't want to stay longer than I do now. We do get out of school at 3:15, but somehow I managed to get home at 6, and I wouldn't want to stay longer than that. And we saw that the issue is not that we don't have enough time, it's more of not using our time effectively. So one class has almost 30 students, and it's just one teacher teaching 30 students, and that's not effective at all because one teacher cannot get to 30 students in the time that we have for each class. We only take 4 classes a day, and each of those classes are 80 minutes long. And even though that seems like it's a lot of time, I know that sometimes I don't get to ask my questions or I don't get the help that I need because my teacher is too busy focusing on, other students, and I don't blame them for that. So we think that like a better alternative for that would be hiring more teachers and providing more classrooms, and if that's not available, then having teacher assistants. So even though we do have a main teacher teaching the lesson, we can have teacher aides, teaching assistants, go to individuals and help them with all that they need. Natalie also said that we need accessibility to printers and computers, and that's a problem that we face every day at school. We have projects due at a certain time, and we're not doing those projects, and our grades are suffering because of that, but it's not completely our fault when we don't have the right resources to do them on. So we do need more laptop carts. As of right now, we only have about 4, I believe, and we have 1,400 kids at Bell. So we do need more than that. And also, the printers and the library that she spoke of, they're not always available for us to use. I know sometimes I want to go after school and type up my projects and whatever it is that I'm missing, but the librarian is not always there, and she has to manage 2 libraries at once, so that's very difficult. And so I guess that we want to have that available even during weekends, so staff members available to help us. So yeah, that's pretty much it, and we're out of time. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Woodson.
My name is Khalil, and I'm a senior at H.D. Woodson Senior High School.
My name is Aaliyah Sparrow Bay, and I'm a senior at H.D. Woodson High School.
The first issue I would like to address is what skills or qualities do you believe characterize a good teacher? One of the characteristics I believe that characterize a good teacher is being prepared and organized, because when you come into a classroom and you see a teacher getting the lesson together or turning on a smart board or still writing on the whiteboard, that shows that she's unprepared. And I think that unpreparedness translates to the students, to where if the teacher's not prepared, why should I, The second issue I would like to address is what supports can schools provide to prevent students from falling behind and dropping out of school? One support I could propose is having classes that appeal to every part of the student body, and having classes such as mechanics class or a class that focuses on computer sciences, or classes that pertain to every student, And the last issue I'd like to address is the extended school day. I think, like everyone said, that's not a good idea, because that leisure time that we have out of school allows us to become acclimated to the school year, and it helps us, get everything prepared for the next day. So that's it.
To follow up on what he said about the extended school day, I think that we shouldn't do it because I'm a cheerleader, and we get out of practice at 6:30 every day, sometimes 8 o'clock. And we don't have time to do homework, study hall. We only have study hall on Mondays and Wednesdays. So it's like I come to school the next day unprepared. I don't do my homework sometimes, but I got to get it done because I want to graduate. So, I think we shouldn't do that. Oh, another reason is because they also have credit recovery. If we extend the school day, then credit recovery wouldn't be able to take place because it's going to be too long, and parents are going to complain about their children coming home late. And some students have kids, so they have to tend to their kids too. Also, I think that schools need more money and school supplies because personally, I'm going to just speak for my school. Some of our teachers make us learn things on our own. So for me to learn my own,
it's not really teaching me anything because I'm learning on my own. I'm not learning from a textbook or from an article or anything. I'm learning on my own. So that's another thing. And if DCPS will motivate the students to stay in school, it would help a lot because it's a lot of students who give up on themselves and don't have the support they need at home. So if they motivate us to actually go to class and stay in school and actually do stuff and engage us in activities in school, it will help us a lot because we really need help, especially our generation.
Yep.
And that's it. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Whitson. We have Roosevelt with the final word.
Good morning to all. My name is Dion McCutcheon, and I'm an 11th grader at Theodore Roosevelt Senior High School. I want to thank you for inviting me today to give my opinion. The greatest barrier standing between DCPS students and success at the high school is that some students don't take initiative for their own learning. It's tough to say how to improve on this subject because learning starts at home. However, inside the school, we can have more elective courses that excite students like psychology, business, and computer classes. This will help students think about their future and prepare for a career. The characteristic of a good teacher that is very important is someone who motivates. That person who you want in your corner when you need help and someone who is there for you. It's important that we have these types of teachers because it makes students want to come to school and it also makes you want to do better in class. Teachers and staff that care about students are needed because it will help prevent students from feeling left out and failing. I think that there should be a teacher and a teacher assistant in classrooms with a large amount of students so that it would be less stress for the teacher and more help for the students. Lastly, to feel socially and emotionally supported at school, I believe we need more counselors that can relate to our backgrounds as students, as Dunbar has said. At my school, as you may know, there are a lot of students involved in gangs, students with mental health problems and other challenges. They are still human beings and we need support because we are your future. Thank you for this opportunity to share.
Thank you. So I just want to say thank you to all of you. First of all, I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for your opinions, but I want to thank you also for your leadership skills. Each of you spoke compellingly. Each of you did the preparation and work that was required to come here, whether it was talking to students at your school or doing surveys or talking to your staff members. And I think that shows a lot about how seriously you take this responsibility. And so I appreciate that. Every year we want to do as much as we possibly can to support our young people. Every year we get less money than we want. That's just life. And so we have to make decisions. We have to prioritize different things. But I heard a lot of very interesting things today. I think the most compelling thing to me was how many of you talked about wanting to be challenged more by your teachers. How many of you wanting more rigorous coursework, whether it's APs or just not worksheet junk, that you get out of textbooks and stuff, but really challenging coursework, challenging assignments. How many of you want your work to be relevant and based in the real world, be that through your classes or field trips or internships? I was compelled by how many of you talked about college preparation and wanting not just those courses in school, but also SAT prep, SAT prep, PSAT prep, so that you can be ready to take the kinds of exams that not just open doors to college, but also open doors to scholarships. I heard a lot of you really compellingly talk about your care for your other students, whether they were your peers who are not as motivated as you are, or whether they're your peers who have special needs and need a different situation, or if they are your peers who weren't successful in a traditional high school, but still deserve to be as challenged and have the kind of high school experience that we want for all of our young people. I heard a lot about more languages and more electives and more activities. I also thought that you raised some very good points about life preparation, time management, stress management, how to buy a house, how to buy a car, getting you ready. One of the things that I've communicated to our team is it's not okay for us to just graduate kids. In fact, we have to be accountable for where our young people are after they graduate. That's how we know whether or not we've done a good job. And so I hope what you're beginning to see in more of your schools is more internship programs, more career and technical academies, more projects that are focused on real world and real life problems that we need to solve that don't just tackle one subject, but might combine math and social studies and science in one project, or might ask you to create a culminating project for an activity that shows that you've mastered a bunch of things and not just one thing. A lot of you talked about the different variety of sports that you'd like. And I think far too often people think that, you know, just basketball, just football, just cheerleading, when we are a diverse set of people and we like all kinds of things. And so we need to offer our young people the opportunity to explore lots of kinds of sports and extracurricular activities. Just a quick word on extended day and extended year. I found it a fascinating conversation. So half of you are like, yeah, no extended day, extended year, except many of you are already engaged in an extended school day and an extended school year. And having that more time allows you to either have more extracurricular activities, or it allows you to get the tutoring that you want, or it allows you to go to have intensives, right? And my goal is not to pile on top of already long days or whatnot, but there are some schools and some teachers, some communities that don't have the opportunity to do some of the things that you all are able to do over the course of your time in school. So we'll be very careful and take people's, we've done a survey to parents asking if they support extended day. We'll work with our teachers and only put it in places where it makes sense. But many of you are already experiencing an extended day, and that allows us to do some of the things that we need to do. One of the other challenges is, as you already know, some of you have 85-minute classes, some of you are already doing lots of things. If we need to add some of the things that you want to see, like time for tutoring or life skills and whatnot, then we need to find some time to do it. And so that may cause us to make the school day longer, or to offer some of those things over the breaks, or to offer some of those things over the summer. So we'll be, thoughtful about how we do it. Our goal is not just to keep you in a building for longer. Our goal is to have more time to do the kinds of labs that people asked for. I mean, there are lots of schools that have 85-minute blocks, but there are some schools that have 43-minute blocks, and you can't get a meaningful lab done in that amount of time. And so we have to figure out how we play with time to get you all of the things that you want. One of the things some of the things that I heard were issues that are decisions that individual schools are making versus, policy that we set across DCPS. And I wanted to raise this because we struggle with these things. So the AP example is a very good example. 2 years ago, we had some schools that offered 29 AP classes and some schools that offered 0 AP classes. And we believe that all of our young people should have the opportunity to prepare for college-level work through AP classes. So I required that every single high school offer at least 4 last year and at least 6 this year. And we're shooting for 8 next year. Most of our schools are averaging 12 to 13 now that we've put the requirement in place. And even if your school doesn't have the exact AP course that you want, we'll try to figure out how to get kids more access to AP. But individual schools decide which AP courses they choose to offer. And so each of you have a responsibility as leaders at your school to not just be bringing your feedback to me, but to be bringing your feedback to your principals, because a lot of the things that you shared that you want to see more of, actually, we have room within school budgets to do. We put money in for supplies. Every year there are a bunch of schools that leave their supply money right on the table. And yet you're saying you need more supplies. This year, for example, we put money in the budget so that there is money per student for science lab supplies, for art supplies, for music supplies, because we recognize that that hadn't always been the case. And so we need you all to make sure that you're pushing on your schools. You need to look at your school budgets and see what's in your school budget. Raise your hand, tell the truth. If you haven't, that's okay. How many people have looked at their school budgets to see what we give you money for? Only a couple. We need you to be vigilant and look at your school budgets and then ask the adults in the building what they're spending the money on, right? Make sure that as student leaders, somebody over here talked about empowering you to go out and be leaders in the world, to change the world around you. You have an opportunity right now to change your situation. It's one thing to come to the chancellor and say we need more money for X or Y or Z, but I like what one lady said in her rabid defense of no extended day, which is we're not using what we have effectively. So let's make sure that we take a look at the funding that we have, at the time that we have, and think about how we use those things more effectively. I'm going to push from the top. We heard a lot of really interesting things, and if you think I'm not going to sit down with high school principals and ask people why this and how come that and what else can we do to meet some of your needs, then you don't know me well. It will happen. But I need you all to push from where you are. Many of you lead student government. It's not just about the 4 people who are, student government officers. It's about mobilizing your student body to say, we want something different. So if we push together, I think we can get to where we want to be. I'll ask Mr. Davis if he has any additional things to say.
I mean, I appreciate all the comments. I think they were very diverse. There's a few of them that we will take away as a system that we have to think about, but I think the Chancellor's point is a good one, that you got to think a little bit about what you should speak to your assistant principals and your teachers and the people that you come in contact with as leaders. It's always a combination like this in a school system. There's always leaders like the Chancellor, myself, and other people ensuring that we give opportunities for students, but it's also individual leaders at schools, and I feel like you can play an incredible point with that. I appreciate the things about clubs, about after-school activities that need to be even more robust, because even though we put some people in place, I feel like all the clubs aren't there yet. So I appreciate that. I appreciate the the more advanced placements. And I feel like even though we have more, we got to figure out how to even get to the microbiology or the one that maybe wasn't at Cardozo and try to make a better variety for everyone. I also want to thank our alternative schools for bringing up some really relevant points. I feel like a lot of times we don't hear from those students as much as we should, and I feel like they were right on point with some of the needs that we have to consider going forward.
Again, I just want to thank you all. I hear you loudly and clearly. You want to be engaged. You want to be challenged. You want school to be a place where it's not just about academics, but about developing you all as leaders, you getting to explore new and exciting things, whether they're academic or not. And we're going to continue to push to try to deliver that better and better every year. If you all ever want to reach out to me, I answer my own email. You can email me directly about any issues that you have. I'm kaya.henderson@dc.gov. And my people will make sure that you have my contact information. But thank you again for coming. And you all have a lot to be proud of. I'm really, really impressed by you as leaders from every single school, high school in the city. And I think if we keep doing our jobs and do a better job at our jobs, we will be able to prepare you and the people who are coming behind you for the world that you all will lead and change. So thank you for coming. If you didn't have some breakfast, please help yourself and have a great rest of the day.